Oh, we got video recording and we got audio queued and we got all this stuff ready to read. Oh, yeah, baby. This is great. Okay, here we go. It starts in... Oh, is the audio recording it? No, it is not. Why? Audition, what are you doing? Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
My day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy. You're crazy for thinking it takes 24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm going to kick your butt. Stack it up over a year, you're toast.
It's Diana's take on the classic turd.
The morning stream. Shoot a nuke down a bug hole. You got a lot of dead bugs.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TMS. It's Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson, and Brian Ibbott's back, everybody. Hello, Brian.
I'm back. Hey, big thanks to Bobby for filling in yesterday and keeping the booth all science-y. Getting hung up a periodic table of elements, and I'm looking, and quaronium contains the letter Q, so sorry. Sorry, Scott.
There you have it. No, it's all good. I had a hard time with that one. Whatever.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love trivia questions like that.
I just feel like I've not looked at a periodic table in a long time. Maybe that's what I need to do, is just like peruse one, Get it in my head, remember all the things, so next time Bobby tries to pull one of his periodic table quizzes, I'll be a little more prepared.
It's something that if you can get it down and get it, figure out not just the letters that go along with each of the elements, especially the ones like potassium and gold and silver that don't match up with the, that silver's not Si, which you think would be easy to remember.
Yeah. That would make sense.
If you can get those down, but also the numbers, it's something that comes up a lot on Jeopardy. It's something that comes up a lot as other clues for things on other trivia tournaments and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, the Tom Lehrer song is a really good start. We had a jigsaw puzzle that we solved that was the periodic table, and
that must have been hard. Was that hard?
It was hard. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Recently I did an iPad puzzle that was it's a new Apple Arcade game, and there's
I played that one too. The
it's
one
good,
with all
right?
the pretty artwork. Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice, and they do this whole thing with I forgot his name. Anyway, famous artist, and one of his paintings is just kind of monochrome. It's mostly just the same color, and it's all kind of flat in a lot of ways, and there's a little bit of texture difference in different places. That took me forever to do. That was a hard puzzle, man.
That's a hard one, yeah.
I gotta have a lot of shit.
I won't say
going on.
what it is, because I imagine you want to use that for App Slappy next when we finally bring back. Yes, we're bringing back App Slappy.
That's right. We're going to start talking about apps again occasionally. Actually, Monday's going to become kind of a revolving door for a few things. We're going to have occasional App Slappy. We'll have Dan occasionally. We'll have, I want to say occasionally, about once a month is the idea.
Yeah.
We're thinking about bringing, at least for one, maybe more, we're going to bring,
Monica.
I almost said Nicole.
I know you did.
Monica in here, and she's going to talk about like her favorite upcoming horror movies for her podcast, Gore. And other
Gwen
things.
will talk about tea. We talked.
Oh,
about
right.
that.
We'll get Gwen in here and do a little tea segment.
Tease the tea of the month.
Yeah, all that stuff. So it'll be good. Looking forward to that.
It'll be good. And then App Slappy is one of those, and I've got one I'm excited to talk about. So, and it's not the jigsaw puzzle one. It is a number puzzle that I am hooked on, like I was hooked on Sudoku 12 years ago or whenever it was.
That's intense. I know how hooked on Sudoku you were. So
I love the Sudoku. Love a little bit of figuring out numbers.
Yeah, that's good. I like you know about it because you have it as well, but that poker Yahtzee combo game.
Yes,
I want to talk about that
Pine Tar Poker.
Love Pine Tar Poker.
Yeah. How far did you get? Like what?
I'm gambling now, like with the money. Which is a much later stage thing, but I'm not sure percentage-wise where I'm at. I'm pretty far.
I've got all the runes purchase, but there's nothing left for me to purchase, basically. And I've basically there's one hint that it's giving me of something I need to do, and I think it's getting a specific hand in the main game, not the money gambly game, but a specific hand, and then that unlocks or completes the game or something.
Oh wow. I don't think I'm quite there. I'm pretty far though, and I enjoy the game to game so much that I sometimes forget there's this overarching thing I'm trying to complete.
Yeah, I know, just the regular game, which is so tough at the beginning, but then when you start getting this lets me draw more cards, and this lets me, see how many more hearts there are in the deck, etc.
Yeah, I would check it out if you guys get a second. It's a pay-for game, no stupid ads or free-to-play stuff. It's called Pine Tar Poker, and we'll talk about it again on an app slap. You get a little more deep, but it's really good.
It's so good. Yeah.
I hope it shows up in other places too. That'd be nice. All right. Yeah. I did some experiments with our audio, and I I wanted to share this with you.
Okay.
Because Adobe put out a new tool.
I always worry about this.
No, you should. And in this case, I do, and I'm not so sure it's that great. But Adobe put out a new product. It's basically just a free AI-driven utility that is supposed to take your voice audio and clean it up some.
Oh,
and it does do that, generally speaking, but it's got limited use. So I tried it out, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. It is called, I bookmarked it. It's called Enhanced Speech, Adobe Enhanced Speech. It's just a web utility. It's not like an app you download, and you don't have to be a sub to use it. It's just a thing Adobe put out there. They're going to have to start doing that more because everyone else is going to beat them to the punch on AI-assisted image stuff, and Canva's already eaten their lunch on what they're trying to do with Adobe Express and all that. So they kind of have to. But anyway, they put this out as part of their quote-unquote podcasting tools. There's really two tools right now. One is you can test your microphone, and it will give you feedback about where you're at with all the ranges and if you should adjust anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like that one a lot. And it turns I went and did it, and it says I'm right where I want to be, so that made me happy.
Perfect. You didn't have to do anything. I probably would need to do something like
I don't know. You sound of all the people I do remote, you sound the best by far. So I think you're
really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just you're best suited for a remote, but also on your shows you sound I don't think you're in a problematic place at all. Because everyone else, if I had to put them all up, Brian always sounds the most consistent.
Well, thank you.
It probably helps that you're only there's more lag with me and Bobby yesterday than I ever get with you.
Oh, really? You think it's because of just distance?
Maybe, or it's his connection, or it's
yeah, I would think that
it's not horrible. We've definitely had worse with people, but you could hear when we would do our read for the titles. There's just a chunk of space there that you don't have.
Sure. I mean, when that makes sense. Yeah, when we used to do that test, all right, say something as soon as I get to the number 3 and 1, 2, 3, and I remember days where it was really bad.
Yeah, and that was usually attributed to ISP issues or whatever.
Some sort of tech issue. Yeah. Exactly.
So here's what I did. Anyway. I went and this is what it claimed. It claimed you could take audio that sounded echoey or in a room or like in a class where someone's giving a lecture or something, and that it would make it kind of sound radio quality after you ran it through this filter. So here's my raw version. Let me turn off the background here. Here's my raw version of the audio, and then I'll play the version that I ran through. All right, and we'll see what we think. So here's the raw on my phone in a room. This is what I sound like talking to my phone just normally, and then we'll try the other way. All right, so echoey. Passable, but not fancy.
Yeah, right. But you can tell that you're in a bathroom or a closet or something.
Yeah, I'm in a place that's not great. So then I run it through the filter, and here's what I got. So again, a reminder, this is what it was before, just so it's fresh in your head. This is what I sound like talking to my phone. All right, now I'll play the enhanced version. This is what I sound like talking to my phone. Just normally, and then we'll try the other way. It's okay. It's not amazing.
What's weird is it starts to not sound like you. If I'm being honest, it sounds like a hybrid of you and Bo Schwartz.
A little bit.
Play it again?
Yeah, here goes. This is what I sound like talking to my phone, just normally, and then we'll try the other way. Yeah.
There's a little Bo Schwartz in there.
Yeah, a little robot-y, a little Bo Schwartzy, and a little nasally. It's just not... It's not all there, right? It's not perfect.
That's good. All right, AI. Finally, we see AI stumble.
Yeah, we've seen the underbelly here. Now, so I decided after that, I'm like, well, what would happen if I took a raw episode file,
Sure.
and ran it through this thing, what would it do? And it's not meant to do things that have a lot of music or background stuff or multiple voice. Like it wants a consistent thing. So it is showing the limits of the technology a little bit, but it turned out real weird. And I want to share this with you. So here's how you and I sound when we were doing titles at the top of the show after the filter. So here you go.
Coming up on TMS, lovely lady dumps.
Waiter, there's a hair in my ibuprofen.
Bang, zoom, buzz. To the moon!
Just let Veronica win.
Potwatch take the time.
All right, there's a commercial. But it sounds like Brian's in a pile of like cotton.
Yeah. I'm among Veronica's marshmallows is what I am. That's what it sounds like, basically.
Yeah, totally. So then I wanted to hear, how does our theme song sound?
All right. Oh, God. Yeah, these things usually trash with music.
Yeah, here's where shit gets weird. All right, so I'm going to play this. This is the theme song for TMS, our opener, which should sound like, where is it? Here. It should sound like this. Our normal thing, right?
Yep.
Here's what it came through as. Here it is. This gets weirder.
The morning stream. Oh no, the bad apes have the crystal laser.
Oh, weird. It's like it's funny that just automatically triggers. It's like Pavlov's chat room over there.
Yeah.
That can't stop typing TMS when they hear that noise.
You guys that don't come live, you should really see this one day. It's insane. I gotta make a GIF out of it.
It's like they just get taken over like a zombie horde.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny how it isolates the tree.
Yeah. And tries to make it sound like a dude saying it, right? Like it's just.
Yeah.
Now, I tried it with the mid song, just a little section of it.
Okay.
And by the way, it's the first time I've ever felt completely 100% comfortable playing any of the music out loud on YouTube, because there's no way their algorithm will make sense of this.
Right. Yeah, good.
But listen to what it tries to do to that. And I'm pretty sure both songs that day had a female vocalist. Anyway, here it is. We'll see how it sounds. I don't even know what song it was. It was whatever it was
either,
Monday.
but it's crazy how the background arrangement actually sounds right.
Yeah.
But they put
little robots. It's really weird. All right, here's more from the final song. You'll recognize the song, but the way they do her voice dirty. Here it is. Whoops.
Lay me down with this is the year and bombs.
It's like a dude at the end going or something.
Yeah. Bizarre. Oh my God.
Isn't that weird?
There's got to be there's a trivia game in there somewhere, right? Where we have to maybe you take a section of a movie clip and run it through that and see if we can identify the movie kind of thing.
Yeah. Or even doing it with a song, although you'd probably figure out the background. I don't know. I'd have a hard time. If I heard that raw without any notice, I would have a really hard time telling you what the hell that song was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was so fresh, it just happened Tuesday. It's a little easier, but anyway, I guess
there's a little bit of KK Slider in that. That's really funny. Like
yeah, totally. If I'm gonna say so, here's my review, Adobe, for your free AI audio enhancement thing. Here's where I think people use it. They'll use it the way you described it. If somebody heard a thing in class and it was quiet, hard to hear, and had too much echo, you're going to immediately see an improvement. If you're on your phone's off to the side, and you're filming something, you're putting something together with your phone, and you're just too echoey, this is going to sound a lot better when you edit this in.
For sure. Yeah.
Other than that, I can't use it. All right? I just can't.
Yeah. No.
It's too weird. Not good.
Not
smart enough yet. Once you get to a place where you can say, where your AI is good enough to say, I will take all spoken sound, isolate all those waveforms within the body of the product, not separate tracks, but one full track, and enhance those, and then touch nothing else, and then just levelate anything that may need it. You do a tool like that, where we'll talk. We'll be friends on that.
It'll be fine. Yeah. The other thing I'd say to Adobe about their free audio adjuster program is you've priced it accordingly. Yep. Adobe. Yep. Well done.
Yeah. Well done. For once you're charging the right price.
Prices are accurate. Yes.
That's right. There's things I pay for Audition still because I love it, and Audition can do a lot of what I But it already does. I mean, that's what I do every
Sure.
day. It does what I
Sure.
need to do to get where I want to be when I put out the final file.
Yep.
So they didn't include any of this in there, which I think is on purpose because it's just too weird. Man.
Yeah,
It's too weird.
I'm sure there's like a audio filter or something you can load into it or something, like a stack or something.
It's very, very funky. One final thing before we get our good pal in here. Oh, we have two things. Never mind. Let me give you this first one.
Sure.
We got a call from somebody. I just want to play it because it's weird.
All right.
This is a Utah connection. It's 5 seconds long. Enjoy.
Hey, this is Jonathan calling from New York. I have a Utah connection. I've been there.
That's his whole call.
Well, many of us then do. So there's a lot of people here now with Utah connections.
Yeah,
Well done.
I feel like we've really nailed what it means to have a Utah connection by saying you've been here. Brian, tell me about Rainbow Bright. What's her deal? She's asking something.
Yeah, she asked a question in pre-show, pre-show, like during the lead up. Asked if I've ever walked the length of the Las Vegas Strip. So basically from the Stratosphere down to Mandalay Bay, which is currently like your Las Vegas Strip endpoints, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely have. This is I'm
So
trying
have
to
I.
get Chris Brown, by the way, to come to TMS Vegas because I think a lot of people would love to have a drink with the real Chris Brown.
Oh, we'd love to see. I'd love to meet Chris Brown. That'd be great.
But he and I were drinking down at a bar in Mandalay Bay called Rum Jungle, and I won't go into the full long story about it, but this was during one of our trade shows that we were working, and he was staying at Mandalay Bay. I was staying at the other end at the West Gate, and this was years before Lyft and Uber. You could basically take taxis, but you also had the monorail and that sort of thing.
Right. You walk a lot in Vegas.
You
back
walk
then.
a lot.
Yeah.
You do. So he and I are drinking. It's just rum drink after rum drink, and people are buying them for us, and we're ordering our own, and et cetera, et cetera. And then Chris says, I've got to, this is the first time I ever called him Chris. Then he says, hold on, I got to go to the bathroom. And he disappears. I'm like, all right, cool. He had just ordered a drink, so I drank my drink. I'm kind of waiting. He's taking off a long time to come back.
Yeah.
I finish my drink. I'm like, well, screw it. I'm going to drink his drink, and I'll teach him a lesson about being gone so long.
Yeah.
I drink his drink, and he still hasn't come back yet. So I'm like, well, all right, I'll just sit. We were basically standing at the bar, but there were these nice, comfy booths behind it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm going to sit down on the booth. The next thing I know, I'm getting poked by a security guard saying, you can't sleep here, who's weirdly standing sideways. And then I realize I'm just laying down.
Oh, damn.
And I kind of get up and I'm like, okay, no problem. And I decide, okay, I guess Chris Brown never came back. And so I start plodding my way from Mandalay Bay. Well, at first I try and go up to like the little tram that goes from Mandalay Bay to Excalibur. I figured out in my mind, I know, all right, Mandalay Bay to Excalibur, tram. Cross the street, go across to Monorail, hop on the monorail, boom, all the way to Westgate, no problem.
Yeah, easy peasy.
That would be an easy peasy if this was the right time of day, because the monorail, the tram stops at a certain time and the monorail stops at a certain time.
Right.
So, and I missed both of those times. So basically, I went from Mandalay Bay, walked across the bridge to MGM, and then like basically I was a marionette being held up by strings all the way down from
I don't want to jump
and
to
the Westgate is the Las Vegas Hilton where the Star Trek experience used to be.
Sure. And I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but what the frick happened to Chris Brown, the real Chris Brown? Like,
he, as drunk as I was, he was there as well. He ended up lost in the center of Mandalay Bay, and one of our clients, one of our customers, who I'm still a customer of the new company that I do some freelance for and that he works for, found him and said, all right, let's get you back to your room. Where's your room? And she walked him all the way back up, tossed him in his room, pulled the door shut, and
that was it.
went about her business.
Wow.
But yeah, and at no point did he say, "Oh, would you do me a favor and go over to Rum Jungle and let Brian know that I'm out for the night," or something like that. Nope, he just like passed out and did not see him till the next day.
I love that you got woken up by a guard guy.
I know.
That's
I
amazing.
feel like it's a bucket list item that I never knew I had on my bucket list,
Yeah,
right? Like getting poked by a security guard in a bar and told, you can't sleep here, sir.
When we went to Vegas one year, 95, I think it was.
Yeah.
Me, my wife, we'd only been married a year or a couple of years. My friend Andrew and his wife Annie all walked from Mandalay Bay all the way down to the Stratosphere that direction that night, the entire length. And then when we were done there, we were like, "Are we walking back?" And we all were like, "No,
No.
no." So
We're
we got a
taking
taxi.
taxi, the Deuce, we'll take whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, we took
I don't
a
know,
taxi.
95, the Monorail, I don't think the Monorail was there in 95, was it?
It may not have been. And even if it was, I don't think I had the knowledge to know where to get on and off and how to do the best route and all that stuff. I think I would have been out of it. But I wasn't drinking, so I wouldn't have that reason. But we were just like, it's just our legs are killing it. It was a long walk, man.
Yeah.
That's a long way to go.
And the Monorail is misleadingly beneficial because you have to go all the way through whatever casino it is you need to get to the Monorail station. MGM Grand is the worst. Like, the Monorail station itself is right by really close to the entrance of MGM Grand, but you have to go down this area and then through these stores and restaurants aren't good enough to put in the main level of our casino hotel.
Yeah.
These are like, Wetzel's Pretzels and the MAGA hat store and stuff like that. You have to go down through to get to the actual monorail.
Yeah, it's done. It almost makes that thing kind of useless. Like,
Kind of useless. Like, if you happen to be in one of the hotels and you're going to the other hotel and don't have to go out to the strip, that's great, right? Like,
Sure.
I'm staying in MGM Grand. We're going to Paris for dinner
Paris,
to
yeah.
get some food there.
Good example.
Perfect. You get out in Paris, and you're pretty much there.
Yeah,
But
if you're in that little zone, and maybe that's all it was really meant for, was to keep people around that zone, and I don't know, just doesn't do a lot
for
of.
sure. I mean, it is the biggest example of exit through the gift shop. It's like, sure, take the monorail. Now enjoy the entirety of our casino on your way across the street to Cosmopolitan.
Yep, basically, yeah. Well, Rainbow Bright, there's your answer.
There you go.
We have walked the length. Now, if you thought Fremont was the length of this, like all the way to Fremont and back to Mandalay, that's not technically the full strip. Strip ends.
No. Yeah.
At Stratosphere, right?
And that's Las Vegas Boulevard, basically. What's called the Las Vegas Strip, plus Las Vegas Boulevard, which is the strip, is north-south. Fremont is east-west.
Right. And technically it could grow further south, I suppose.
It could, and probably will. I mean, there's stuff down there. There's the Conveyor Belt Sushi place that we're going to go to, I hope, which is just south of Mandalay Bay.
Right.
In the... What is that place called? It's like it's an outdoor mallsy kind of place.
Oh, yeah. Kim loves it there. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, that's out there. But the problem is you start running right into the airport at some point. And, I mean, that may be convenient, I guess. Just jumps right off.
It'd be great if they could run that. If they could run the monorail to the airport, they would. I mean, boy, the taxi industry would poop their pants and protest, but
they already are pissed. Imagine them now. They
hate the fact that Uber, they fought tooth and nail to keep Uber and Lyft out of Vegas. And
didn't work. Sometimes the genie's out of the bottle, son.
Yep, exactly.
Nothing you can do. All right, here's something we can do.
Let's do that.
We're gonna add Amy to the call.
Yes.
Yep. We got she has a book she's been holding on to for a whole week because we weren't here last Thursday.
It's a little crumpled up now and hard to read because
it's all wrinkly.
she's been doing that.
It's all wrinkly and weird. Anyway, here's
Pages
that.
are folded over.
Sorry, what?
Someone wrote all over it. Who knows? Hey, Amy, what's going on? Welcome back to the show for Read This. How are you?
Hi. Oh, you guys are talking about my book.
Yeah, your
The book you've been holding on to for a week.
Yeah.
Right at the moment. So I listen on Twitch before you guys call me into the call, but then, there's a little chunk of audio that I don't hear in between picking up the call and started to talk to you guys. I was like,
Who
"Wait,
knows what dirty cheese we're airing about
Exactly.
you know?
That chunk of delay, we can say
folded.
whatever we want during that chunk of delay. and
We
you'll
say
have no
we say
idea.
let's get Amy in here. Boy, doesn't she suck? Anyway, books, everybody, books, and you never hear it.
Exactly. You totally could, and I would never know.
Well,
so I want to tack on to what you guys were talking about. I actually was taking notes, like a good little bookworm.
Sure. Okay.
So, talking about your little drunken escapade in Vegas, and the first thing I thought of while you were describing that, I was like, and I said this in the chat, things only a dude can do, right? Like a woman cannot do that.
Pass out in a bar, bad
no.
freaking news for sure.
Any femme presenting person cannot do that. It would be very unsafe. So on that note, Bobby had a brilliant idea last year, and I think we should re-implement it this year. There's going to be a collection of us who will gladly give out our numbers, and if you want to text us, we will be the safe people. Like if somebody is coming up to you, like last year we had a thing, right? Like didn't somebody punch somebody?
Cheesy G decked a guy in the Plaza bar who was getting a little would not leave her alone. She gave him so many warnings, verbal warnings, and then he got a little handsy and she just floored him, basically.
I still blame her. Her anger came mostly from losing in Miss Pac-Man to me the day before.
Oh, it also, might have come from
but
craps
it built
too.
up.
She lost. We taught her how to play craps and it didn't go very well for her. But I tried like you have no idea how much I tried to get that video from the security cameras at the plaza. I talked to the right people and they just couldn't get him to me.
Why wouldn't they do it? Would they have a policy where they won't give that stuff out? Probably or something?
No, because the person even said, let me see, do you know the approximate time? Let me see if I can get it. And then he just never got back to me.
Oh,
but I went through 3 people to finally get the right person and was in contact with them. And I think he tried, said that can't find it, and then just didn't bother replying back to me. But
they're busy. They're following that handsy guy around with other videos, I guess, probably.
Right.
For the lawsuit.
We got your back over there. If you guys need help, there's always somebody who's there to walk you. If you're going to walk the length of the strip and you're Claire Gack, don't do it. We'll get a buddy system going. We'll go with you. It's all good.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Claire's in the chat going, I'm a safe person. No, Claire, you need a safe person.
Yeah,
like,
you need
honey.
employ the buddy system, and if Claire Gack is your buddy, then get a third buddy.
Get a third buddy.
Well, and I'll go ahead and say this because I know it to be true. Chuck is always available for that, and Chuck is much like Scott. He is completely sober, has been for over a year. So he will be glad to and feel obliged, frankly, to make sure that you are safely returned to your hotel room and whatever.
This is what's hilarious too. Like when you're a tall guy, guys our height, me and Brian's height, we are automatically kind of intimidating to strangers, and they will not mess with us. Even though I don't feel like that guy, I don't feel like an intimidating guy at all.
Yep.
But they see us as that. So if you just need us to walk around with you, we're good. We'll do it.
And Bobby points out in the chat, it's not just about having a buddy if you're out drinking or whatever. It's also if someone is coming up to you and being creepy, and it doesn't matter gender, I don't care, whatever. If somebody's coming up to you being creepy and you need somebody to pretend to be your significant other or your overprotective mom figure, whatever. If I don't care. If you need somebody to creep somebody the heck out and make them go away,
Chuck's your man.
Chuck is your man. I will do that. I've been taking lessons. I can creep somebody out, no problem. I'll be like, oh no, you don't want her number. People with her number end up like on lists for organ donation and stuff like that. You don't want that.
I pity the fool that tries to do this to Carter because she's got Wolverine power. She will tear them to pieces for real.
Didn't
she's
you
so
say
strong.
Somebody did that when she was in Iceland?
Oh yeah, Russian dude. I guess he was just drunk and was being belligerent. He wasn't like being creepy, but I can't remember how that turned out though, but I was like, part of me wants to see one of those go to fruition because I'm not kidding about her strength. She's got bear strength. She's just really strong, and when she's like in a corner or needs to, if the defense mechanisms kick in, I would not want to be in that path. She's scary as hell when she's mad. Anyway, and she's such a sweet kid. Cool. She's just a nice, kind little, normal kid until you put her in a bad situation, and then I pray for you because you're all going to die at her hands. She's rough, man. Anyway.
Well, that's kind of like that story I was telling before about the guy Jeremy that we always took out with us when we were in France. Like he was like 6'5". That's why. Mm-hmm. We took him out with us because nobody would mess with us because he was huge.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Same.
It's weird what size does, even though some of us feel like total. I don't feel like a big tough guy at all.
No,
people see me, they don't know me. They think, that guy's 6'4". Ooh, scary.
Boy, I can intimidate like the best of them. But if push came to shove, I'd be swinging my arms like the blades of a rototiller.
That's right. Yeah.
Hoping to make contact with whoever.
Plus, I can resting bitch face people off. They'll be sitting there, and if they just look at me, and all I'm doing is relaxing and chilling, they'll think I'm pissed. I'm going to kill them. So it's good.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how effective just a blank stare is sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like in just completely creeping someone out and just saying something completely innocent, but making it sound creepy.
Yeah, and do it low. You got to get down in this register here.
Very monotone.
Excuse me, what are you doing here? And they're just like, oh shit. I can't fight this.
Embrace your inner Ben Stein. Just give it that flat, that flat delivery.
My inner Ben Stein came out of me a long time ago. Anyway,
so Brian, I'm glad to hear that your back is feeling better. Also, because do you think that you might be able to do a bike ride when you guys
listen? I'm going full speed ahead for the MS-150 this year. So. My plan is, to rent a bike while we're in Vegas and at least get a nice few hour half day ride in or something with Chuck and whoever else wants to go. Probably cool. I think Monday morning is probably going to be the ideal time for that before everybody starts coming in. But that's currently the plan.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I know Monkey Bananas is planning to join you guys as well.
Cool.
So if anybody else is a cyclist wants to get in on that,
Monkey Bananas is welcome. He just can't bring his brother who will beat everybody in a race.
It's too late. It's happening. He's already not only bringing his brother, but his brother is already registered for the competition.
Yeah, but if you put him in the bike,
do not play a fighting game with that guy.
No, he'll destroy you. Yeah, that's where it's where he beat me. I think that's the final game I played, and he whooped me.
Yeah,
and that game was broken. His controller was broken, and sort of he couldn't go back or something. There was some weird thing wrong with his stick, and he still beat me. Bastard.
Yeah.
Well, I have other Vegas questions, but I'll email you. I can ask him here.
Let's save him because we got to get to the book.
Yeah, we got to get moving on. But,
we got Wendi in like 12 or something. So
I'll shoot you a message, Brian, and ask some of these other questions.
I will answer them, and if some of them are great for like spreading the knowledge, then we'll also answer them on the show.
Cool. And one last note: if you get a chance to ride in a car with Kim and Scott, totally take them up on it because it's as entertaining as any episode of Skim. It's exactly.
Yeah, if you guys think there's some kind of weird fakery on the show going on, just spend some time in our car. It's worse than you think. It's worse than you think. I'm telling you.
It's like an episode of that, and Chuck and I were just cracking up because I was like, they're like us, but
we should have recorded that.
They're big dorks, and so
the big dork, the dork happens, mic on or not. That's how it works around here. Yeah. All right, let's get to your book.
And I'm sorry about my dog barking in the background.
Yeah.
So hold on a second. Chuck.
Did
that on purpose.
Got your own Mark moment. I love it. It's good.
And you come get your dog.
Oh, it's his dog when she's barking. I see.
Oh yeah. Well, that one is his dog. That one's Beauregard. Violet, the little dark one, is mine. But anyway, so you can go ahead, roll the clip. It doesn't need any introduction.
All right, here we go. Here's the clip.
I'm a modern man, a man for the millennium, digital and smoke-free. A diversified, multicultural, postmodern deconstructionist, politically, anatomically, and ecologically incorrect. I've been uplinked and downloaded, I've been inputted and outsourced. I know the upside of downsizing, I know the downside of upgrading. I'm a high-tech lowlife, a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art, bi-coastal multitasker, and I can give you a gigabyte in a nanosecond. I'm new wave, but I'm old school, and my inner child is outward bound. I'm a hot-wired, heat-seeking, warm-hearted, cool customer, voice-activated and biodegradable. I interface with my database is in cyberspace, so I'm interactive, I'm hyperactive, and from time to time I'm radioactive. Behind the 8-ball, ahead of the curve, riding the wave, dodging the bullet, pushing the envelope. I'm on point, on task, on message, and off drugs. I got no need for coke and speed. I got no urge to binge and purge. I'm in the moment, on the edge, over the top, but under the radar. A high-concept, low-profile, medium-range ballistic missionary. A streetwise smart bomb. A Top Gun bottom feeder. I wear power ties. I tell power lies. I take power naps. I run victory laps. I'm a totally ongoing Bigfoot slam dunk rainmaker with a proactive outreach. A raging workaholic. A working rageaholic. Out of rehab and in denial.
You know what? He would have been the most amazing rap artist of all time.
Right?
He really would. He'd be able to beat Eminem in that "Mom Spaghetti Lose Yourself" rap at the beginning of 8 Mile.
Yeah.
I would have paid to see that.
Yeah, he would win all rap battles. He would have been, he would have been lord of the form. But instead, we got him in this form. So that's obviously George Carlin. What's the book this week?
It is indeed George Carlin. The book is called "When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops?" This was released in 2004, and you can read it as a book if you so choose, but I obviously, for very obvious reasons, recommend getting the audiobook because there's nothing like hearing George do it himself. And I mean that little spiel there, that's like a third of that. I had to cut it off because I was like, okay, this clip is going to be too long, so I had to find a place where, good luck finding a place where George Carlin takes a breath.
Yeah. Right.
It's hard to do.
I zoomed way in so that I could see all the little blips in there and I could find a place where I wasn't catching a bit of the next word. It was, he's amazing, and he can apparently do that for like 5 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, he can go and go. That guy, I don't know if there's ever been anybody like him. Just hearing that again is a great reminder. I watched that documentary recently, which was fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. And it's one of a kind stuff. Like nobody else is like that. Like him or hate him, the talent of just like his oration ability, his ability to just get huge ideas out quickly and in a funny way, but also make you think. It's amazing. It's
so great. Not anarchistic, but also not sheep, following the herd. It's just like his own path that just is like so knowledgeable and makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's what I would call a wordsmith. For sure. Like he plays with words in a way that is super pleasing to your ear, but also it makes you think, but he does it so quickly and he speaks so quickly that you have to kind of catch up. Like by the time you're like, oh yeah, then he's gone. He's said six other things.
Yeah. And you watch any of his concerts, like any of his live concerts. Here's what's crazy about that guy. He doesn't have any crutch words. Never uses ums or uhs or anything like that. He never stumbles over a word and has to re-say it. Like the rest of humanity, he doesn't do that. And he'll go that 2.5 hours on stage and never once make one of those foibles. And then he'll also rattle off stuff that he must have burned into his brain because there's no other way to remember it and be able to do it that precisely. Even in his older age, right before he died, he's looking, crispy and ready to go up there. And he still just could pound that stuff out in a way that I just don't. I mean, it's almost like I can't think of another person who has that power. It's insane what he was able to do.
Oh, for real. I absolutely agree. He was absolutely one of a kind. And I would love to have been able to hear his take on what's going on now. Although you listen to some of his older stuff and oddly it still applies. It's like what the more things change, the more they stay the same.
No, it's like I think he had a handle on the primordial version of what sucks in life, and you can apply it to almost anything. So if something today is going on either politically or socially or whatever it is, you can go back and find some Carlin bit that addresses it, and he may have done it in like 72, but somehow it feels like he did it in 2022. It's crazy.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
For real. Like he did a bit in this book. There is a section where he talks about the 10 Commandments, and he edits the 10 Commandments. And it's fantastic. I don't want to spoil it because it's great and it's hilarious, but you're like, you're right. And he starts it off with, okay, the first 3 commandments are just complete bullshit. Just throw them away. So I 100% recommend. I got in kind of a mood for this because I was in kind of a bad mood last week. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to pull out some Carlin this week.
Why not?
And it's funny. Somebody said, I think it was Icor or somebody in the chat wrote a title that was like the 7 audiobooks we can't play on TMS with Amy. And that's really funny because I sent Scott 2 clips and one of them was a little bit dirty. And I was like, okay, let me give you this other one just in case. And it turns out it was too dirty. Even though I bleeped out a bunch of stuff, it was still too dirty.
Yeah.
So,
for the record,
don't worry, Claire, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you'll get it, Claire. But the main reason we went with the one we did is I just feel like the clip you sent or this clip we played is so indicative of his thing that it just worked really well. Did we talk about what the name of the book is? I don't even know if we did.
Yes. The name of the book is When Will Jesus Bring
the
Pork Chop?
When Will Jesus Bring the Pork
Cover's
Chops?
got him doing the Last Supper with his knife and fork out.
That's right.
Among all the apostles.
That's right.
Here's what I would consider to be the potentially only good use of an AI chatbot is giving us an accurate George Carlin perspective on the world today.
Yeah, they'd have to really be good at it. But can you imagine if you could just put in a prompt and say, what would Carlin say about this? And then have that thing poop it out in the way he would have said. I mean, that's all weird. And I'm not sure I like that future, but it'd be really interesting to.
I kind of want it. I kind of want to see. So I heard a thing on NPR this morning where they were asking it all about, flying a rocket, and could it fly a rocket? Could like the ChatGPT fly a rocket?
Oh God.
And and they were asking an actual rocket scientist to review the output from it. And, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing because I was just in my car, but, and I got where I was going before the piece was over. But
you know what a rocket is like? It's like a giant missile that that the robots can point at humanity. No, I say no.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just tried some interesting points on there though. That was like, we've kind of been autopiloting a lot of stuff like that for a while now. You know, like the space program's been doing that since the Apollo missions. So we've kind of been letting the computer steer for a while.
Kind of, yeah.
So anyway, George Carlin. Yeah.
I tried to get into ChatGPT just now to see if we could do describe the Korean War from the perspective of George Carlin. Just see what it would say. But it's at capacity once again, and I can't freaking do it. So get out of there. Right. There's people right now at work or at school going, write my freaking paper for this week.
Exactly. List the 10 ways that capitalism is better than communism.
Yeah, and then they go drink all weekend while their teacher gives them an A. It's a terrible future we're heading toward. Nobody's
horrible.
Nobody's good at anything anymore. Anyway, well, this is fantastic. Go check it out. Available on Amazon, I see, both in written and obviously audio form. And it's among other books of his, right? He's got other stuff, I believe.
Oh, yes. He has other books as well. So I think Napalm and Silly Putty was the one he wrote right before that. So, yeah, but he has several books that he wrote, and he reads them all for audiobook. So, yeah, I would totally recommend going and checking all of them out because they're fantastic.
Very cool. Amy, thanks for bringing this as always. This will be up on quicktms.ly for those looking for all the stuff we cover on our segments during the week, including Amy's segment. So if you forgot the name of the book or otherwise wanted to see what we talked about, you can find it there. Amy, have a great week. I can't wait to talk to you one more time next week, and then another time after that, and then many times after that.
I'll be here.
Bye now. All right. we are. Oh, let me in. Hold on a second.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would George Carlin describe?
Ooh, you found some. Okay, you got in.
What do we? I'll do it. The Korean War. Korean War. Okay, let's see what it says. It's thinking. As an AI language model, I don't have personal opinions or emotions, but based on George Carlin's style of comedy, he may have described the Korean War in a sarcastic and critical manner. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Wow.
Slash sarcasm / end sarcasm.
Yeah,
Nice,
humorous observations about the events and circumstances surrounding the conflict. All right, ChatGPT, go back to bed. It's fine.
Jokey reference. Jokey reference.
Yep.
F word.
There you have it. All right, that's it. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll spend some time with my sister Wendi. She's back this week, back from Chicago from her fantastic trip there. And we have, I think, a really great email to share with her. So that'll come up here in a minute. But before that, we need to have a break and we need to have a song. So, Brian, you can probably give us those two things. What do you got?
I have a break. I have a song. Let's break with this song. Here's one that actually came to us from a listener who somehow is affiliated with the band. A guy named Andrew wrote in and said, "Hey, hope you guys are doing well. I'd love to recommend an indie band for you to play on TMS. Selfish Bodies, Hideous. Selfish Bodies being the band, Hideous being the song. They are a wicked female-fronted rock band from Edmonton, Canada. He is affiliated with the band and did get their permission. So that is the requirement. If you have an indie in the middle that you want to recommend, that's the only requirement I have, is that you just ask the band if it's cool to play them on the show. And if we get a yes, then that is all the permission that I need. I just need it written.
Sure.
Here is their song Hideous. This is really, really good. And I'm kind of glad that you didn't play this yesterday because I want to be here to hear it. So here is the song Hideous by the band from Edmonton, Canada, Selfish Bodies.
Well, what will people think?
Don't worry, John. The history books will clean it up.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll not appear in the history books anyway. Only you. Franklin did this, and Franklin did that, and Franklin did some other damn thing.
I am Torgo. I take care of the place while the master is away.
The Morning Stream. I'm alive. I live to safeguard the continuity of the greatest society. To serve Liberia, baby.
Welcome back to the show. Hey, tell us who that was again so I can go find it later.
Oh boy, if I could.
Yeah.
That is a song called Hideous by the band Selfish Bodies. Big thanks again to Andrew for sending that to us and getting permission for us to play it on the show.
Yeah, and I don't know why this wasn't supposed to play right here. This was supposed to play. But for some reason, something in my soundboard's effed, and I got to figure out why.
But see, it still wasn't enough to trigger the tadpole. That's all it took. The tadpole just went crazy. Still,
maybe I did it on purpose, chat.
Maybe
it felt like the show started twice today. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, we are going to add Wendi to it and see what she's got going on.
Okay, all right.
She's got thoughts. She's got feelings. You know. She's a human being with ideas.
Both of which are very important, I believe.
She has expertise in this area, so let's play this.
Everyone knows it's Wendi.
It is my sister Wendi, fresh back from a trip to Chicago. How'd it go there, by the way? How was Chicago?
Great.
Yeah?
Great. It's such a cool town.
It is a cool town.
I mean, really cold, very windy, holy cow, but that's the only bad part.
Well, it is the
they should call that place the Windy City.
Yeah, they should call it the Windy City. When they call it the one
it's not kidding.
when they call it the broad shoulders thing, what's that? What does that refer to?
City of broad shoulders.
Yeah.
That just supports all of you. Like we got
Yeah.
broad shoulders. We
That's
can
how it
support
goes.
all of you.
Or even if even
right.
when it's windy, we'll support you with windy.
Well,
Yeah, it was incredibly, like, I don't know, what other towns have nicknames that are sometimes true? I think it's 100% true there.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
time.
City of brotherly love. Depends.
Sometimes,
Depends on what part of
Depends.
you're in.
Let's,
Yeah.
let's see what happens when they lose or win the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah.
Denver, the Mile High City. Yeah, in one spot. Yeah, it
one
is.
place.
It's Mile
Yeah,
High.
they never change it? Okay. Fair.
What about us?
Fair.
We're the beehive state, which I always hated growing up. I can't stand that term, but it's because we're supposed to be busy as bees.
Busy
Yeah.
little bees.
Little bees
Do you
running
think that's
around.
happening? You're busy?
I'm busy, so I guess I am the living embodiment of the state's motto. I don't know.
You are. Good job.
Yeah.
No, Chicago's great. I lived a lifetime dream. Just thought I'd share it. I got to see Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me live.
Oh, awesome!
That's right. We did
I've
talk
only
about
listened
that. The ghost of Carl
25
Castle.
years.
Yeah, have you ever
Yeah.
seen Peter Sagal in person before?
No, but his face and voice do not match.
Not at all.
Do not match.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
really?
at all. Yeah, it threw me.
It
I
is
saw him in an interview and I
bizarre.
went, "That is not Peter Sagal. Who the frick is that? That's not right."
At all. It is very bizarre. But I'll tell you, it was 2.5 hours. And when you guys listen on the radio, it's only an hour. So I'm telling you, the funniest parts no one ever gets to hear.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure, that's true.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's
was
cool.
great.
So, who were the guest celebrity types that were there?
It was Brian Babylon was the one. They have 3 comedians.
Yeah.
Nagin Farsad, who is so funny.
Yeah.
And Maz Jobrani, who always does an accent that is so bad. And he did Australian. And I was so happy that I got to hear it in person.
I swear, the only
It was
time
great.
I ever hear it, it's what's her name, Paula Poundstone's always there. I feel like,
Oh, yeah.
and she's
That
fine.
would have been the dream.
Nothing wrong with her, but
Just because she's like such a fixture, it'd be fun to actually have seen her. And then the caller, like the famous person was Natasha Lyonne, who's in.
Oh, yeah.
she's in her new
Poker
poker face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nichols.
I like her. I was talking to
She
Kim
was
yesterday.
really funny.
That woman.
Did she say Cock-a-Roach at any point?
Cock-a-Roach.
Because I don't feel like you get true Natasha Lyonne unless she says the words Cock-a-Roach.
Cock-a-roach. Yeah, it needs to happen.
Cock-a-Roach. What's amazing is her voice is like.
Yeah.
Is she an 85-year-old smoker?
No,
or
that's
is
exactly
she-
what we were talking about. Kim and I were just having this discussion. She is 25 and 85 at the exact same time. That woman.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
and
get
she
it.
tells a story about getting caught. She would sell pot in her Upper East Side high school, and she would take the first hit and then get in an elevator and be confused why she got caught because, of course, it smelled so bad. So, I mean, I think she's done something to her throat. I can't imagine that's natural, but she is.
But
it
that
was really
seems
funny.
to fit. Like that, you telling me that story does not surprise me at all, and it makes me think her first season of Orange Is the New Black was her actually serving time for pot distribution.
Well, that'd be
Gosh,
great.
she's great.
She is great.
The funnest part was like later we listened to it with the kids when we got home. We were home by Saturday, so we listened to it and we were just like, oh, like the funny things on the back end. It was so much fun, but then also realizing like, they cut out all the inappropriate, hilarious stuff. But then the other part was like this caller from St. Paul, bless him, here in my neighborhood was just did not understand what he was trying to say. And she kept repeating the wrong word. I mean, it took like 20 minutes of laughing, but in the show, they just edit it so it sounds normal. And I'm like, oh, the magic of radio. That was very fun.
It'd be cool if
I'm
they
still geeking out about it.
It'd be
It's
cool
so
if they
dumb.
put that stuff out someplace, the extra stuff, Maybe they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe they do.
I don't know, but not 2.5 hours worth. It was long.
Yeah, that is long. Well, that's great. What a
But
cool
it's good times.
bucket list item you can now check off.
Yeah,
And you'll
fun.
never have to see Peter Sagal's face again.
Ever again, because it still doesn't look right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Looks wrong. People say that to us all the time. No, they'll see Brian and I for the first time. They're like, you don't look like you sound.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're not Brian.
Yeah, I guess
You
not.
guys have the face for radio.
We sure do. Well, anyway, it's good to have you back. We're going to do an email here. As you know, Wendy's a real therapist, helps people all the time with real problems, comes on Thursdays and helps you with yours. And we got one today that is probably going to be relatable to a certain segment of our listeners, certainly is to me. And I'll just read it. It's an anonymous submitter who says, I'm a very casual gamer and a father of 4 boys. I love sharing my favorite video games with them, but I have one kid out of the 4 that can't handle it. He is unable to moderate his time. He rage quits. He gets upset when Fortnite doesn't go his way. All of my other boys are relaxed and understand games should be fun. Is it fair to ban games for my one kid, or should all my kids be banned as well? How would you handle this situation? P.S. The problem kid is 10 if y'all wanted to know. Boy, I'll tell you where I get hung up. Him at the end saying the problem kid is 10. Now I know what he means. I know what he means. Right. He's saying like the kid in question.
Are you just using that term with us or?
Yeah, like it's just to me that just is a little bit of a red flag, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, Wendi, you've had sons.
Quick. Did he mention birth order?
No, he does not say. He just says one kid out of the 4 is a rage quitter, and he's 10.
All right. So if you're listening, send us birth order, please. I'd like to know which position in the family this kid is.
No, wait. Before you go on, why does that matter? I mean, I think I know why.
Well,
but
I'll tell you if he responds.
Yeah. All right.
And then I'll tell you otherwise. But I have another analogy. I realized one of my superpowers, which is really kryptonite, but it's a superpower. You know, it fluctuates between which it is.
Yeah.
Is bad analogies. Like I have so many, they just come out of my mouth.
If
any of you have ever worked with me,
do you mean?
Yeah, boy, I don't know if there's anybody else in your family who also suffers from that exact problem.
Yeah.
Let me think.
I like that you call it a superpower, though. I'm going to start saying that mine.
Well,
is a
I'll tell you
superpower.
why it's a superpower, because sometimes as I'm doing it with a client, it like just makes everything make more sense. That's the point of the analogy, right? You use it to make something clear. Sometimes they're awesome. Like the other day, I had a really terrible one, which was about constipation. Yeah. And the person's like, what? I'm like, I know. You keep everything in and then there's problems and things come out sideways. Anyway, and they're just like gross, but it got the point across. Anyway, so I have a problem with analogies. But this one I think is great. And I actually stole it from a listener. So he may be listening.
Oh, okay.
And it's really helpful. And I think it applies here. I think. Okay. So you grew up in a family, and that family is a department store. And at that department store, you get socks. You probably got them at Christmas and you're still bitter about it, but you got socks from that family of origin, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you go and you partner with someone in life. And this person, you are just perpetually trying to give those socks back to.
Yeah.
Like, here, can you just take the socks back? But it turns out the person is a hardware store. So they don't take socks.
Yeah.
They can't take socks. There's no mechanism where that would ever work or make sense.
So in other words, you got socks at Walmart and you're trying to return them at a grocery store, and they're like, sir, we can't, you didn't buy those here, and we don't sell socks. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is 100% of marriages. Okay. So very commonly, right? Like, and it can be from a large issue down to really small ones of what I learned, how I was traumatized. You know, we talked about foo, family of origin issues. That's kind of what I'm getting at. The socks are the foo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this stuff that happened there, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's just what you're used to are the socks, right? And then you partner up with someone who has a whole nother set of socks they're trying to return to your hardware store. It just doesn't work great. Now, the fun part here's where I break the internet with my analogy, is that when you become a parent, there is a whole new pressure put on this sock exchange business, which is little mini yous and little mini the other person's, and to walk around outside of you and trigger some stuff, right? They may trigger the sock thing. So maybe it's the kid who rage quits. Let's just use the words from the email, right?
Sure.
The kid who rage quits is either reminding you of your partner's socks that you can't fix, or is reminding you of how you got those socks in your family originally. And when it's pretty deep like that, it's usually not really obvious, like, ooh, that's me. Unless you're, more aware, you can just have some really interesting internal reactions to that. right? So automatically the quote problem child is doing certain behaviors that I promise is eliciting the sock hardware analogy.
Okay.
Did that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. No, I get it. I like this idea that every marriage is that. I'm trying to think of how that is with Kim and I. It is, you know what? It is true. It's totally true. Like I can't return socks to Kim, you know, and I don't mean literally, although actually it's kind of literally true. You know what? Yeah. She's literally not going to take any socks from me, but
no, she really won't. Yeah.
No, I get it. So okay. But in terms of this situation, you've got the one kid who just is, you know, having trouble containing his anger or his competitiveness or whatever compared to the other boys. This reminds me of my kids. Carter's very competitive in video games. Like if she's losing, she gets really, you know, whipped up into a frenzy about it.
Yeah.
Nick could not be bothered. He's great at games and he usually is winning. Maybe that's why she's all fired up. But he's just chill about it and kind of can laugh it off and it's no big deal. Their older sister, Taylor's a little bit of a mix of both, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess the analogy is starting to work for me because I can't apply the same sock return to Nick and Carter at the same time just because Carter's the one having competitive issues. I have to treat her socks separately, right? Is that kind of the bottom line? Is that there is no blanket plan for this? They don't all come out just because they all came out of the same flesh chute doesn't mean they're all the same personality. Sorry for the vagina reference, but you know what I'm saying.
See, flesh chute. That's an analogy that's gone a little
awry.
off the rails.
Yes.
I appreciate it. My family puts it this way. Oh, mom just has to make it worse or grosser or just one sentence too long. Yeah. That's my analogy from. Yeah. No, you're right. I think, and what I'm getting at really with the understanding the sock and hardware store analogy is just this idea that you're getting a particular response. You are having a particular response to a particular child's response. And when 3 out of the 4 prefer crest, you're going to think crest is the best way to do it. Now, what if it was 3 out of the 4 kids rage quit and freaked out all the time? Mm-hmm. Would this be a different email? Probably.
Sure.
Yeah,
right?
It would be very different.
It'd have to be, yeah.
And one makes life easy. Oh, they're fine. And then the other response requires some parenting. Yeah. Requires some interaction, or at least you feel like it requires some.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
So I would do a couple things. I'd have a little checklist. Number 1, it would look like, what is this about for me? Like, why does this bug me so much? Because you know what? No parent in the world wants to harm their kid or think something's bad for them. And then when a kid shows particular behaviors, it does get you thinking, maybe this is not good for them. Right.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something I need to do here, et cetera. So it engages you in that need to whatever. But check yourself just first. That should be number 1. Okay, what is this about? What does this remind me of? So maybe someone at the department store would get really angry. Maybe you don't like how you feel when you're really angry. Maybe you've had fun and games ruined by one of your siblings and you're your other kid in this story, right? Like find your place in this dynamic, and it could be anything. So here's how I'd suggest you do it. You are quiet. You sit down. You think about the scenario. You pull it up, and then you just watch what your brain shows you. It'll either literally show you, or memories will pop up, or a feeling, or just something. And we're very good at going like, that was random. No, your brain is releasing something to give you a hint. So it could be a memory. It could be some connection like, oh, I remember that cousin or that kid I used to play with who blah, 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 and I hated that. Okay, great. Now we know your part, right? So you start with that, and rather than just assume the kid's got a problem, you start with, what is my problem with what seems to be the problem, right? So you check yourself first. That's item number 1. Number 2, ask yourself, okay, what are you so worried is going to happen here? What is the thing you're afraid of? Am I afraid this means my kid's going to be an abuser? Like, what are you afraid of? And to some extent it could be
competitive or
yeah. No one's going to like them. Because 90% of parenting is watching a kid knowing this is going to be hard for you out in the real world.
Yeah,
I
that's
need
almost
to
always
help
it.
you,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
So you can understand that. And so some piece of this is, sort of checking with like, what is it you're afraid will happen? And what are you trying to, what do you feel the need to do about it?
Yeah.
You need to shut it down. Do you need to whatever? And then third thing is just Google a developmental milestone chart and realize for a 10-year-old with maybe some of his natural proclivities, this is how he's processing a big range of emotions. He's just feeling more, right? We really like in family systems the people who feel less and feel small. Because it means I can get somewhere on time. It means I can get my checklist done. I can go to my job and we can have a good time and no one ruins anything. It's really motivating for the department store of your family to run smoothly is people don't have real big feelings. So you might want to ask yourself, what are big feelings? What do they mean in this house? What does it mean in my wife's house? What does it mean in my house growing up? What happened to them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? And often you'll find they got shut down or someone was made the scapegoat or that person's different or, quote, the problem child, right?
Mm-hmm.
So developmentally, normal for a kid to have feelings and sometimes it's normal for a kid to have really big feelings. It's what's abnormal is that nobody knows how to deal with it. I mean, common, no one knows how to deal
it's
with it.
funny because given the topic and it's just kind of funny, I just thought of it. Back when, I guess he would have been around 10 or 11, I had basically a game day with Abe, with your oldest, and he came and hung out with us that day. So it was just me and him and Nick, playing games, eating pizza, chilling, just having like uncle nephew business, and it was great. And we played what was it? NBA Jam, the newest NBA Jam game that came out for the 360. It was like a more modern version of that game, and we were playing that game. And in the middle of this, it's a very competitive game, head-to-head basketball, 2-on-2 basketball game. And about halfway through it, I start to notice that Abe is like kind of turning red and breathing really hard and looking like he's about ready to pop because he was getting beat by Nick.
Yeah.
And Nick's over there just chilling, doing what he does and whatever. And I remember thinking, oh, shoot. This stimulation or this particular stimulus is probably a bad idea at the moment. And that brings me to this. I know enough about Abe to know that now he's pretty chill about this stuff. He's not, overly competitive. He's not, turning red and about to pop when he's playing a game with one of his friends or playing Fortnite or something. So is some of this age? He says he's around 10. Is it possible that this is just sort of like a stage thing? And whether it's games or something else, it's just, it's not something to flip out about. It's just he's 10 and this is kind of what some 10-year-olds do and this will pass.
Yeah. And yet also, I mean, I don't know when's the last time you met a 40-year-old competitive person. They still exist.
No, that's true. And I shouldn't, and I haven't seen Abe in a long time.
It's not that it goes away.
Right.
It's that they learn how to manage the feeling.
Right.
So I think the temptation is to stop the stimulus that creates the big feeling. And then we can all just feel better, right? But actually, maybe if we thought of parenting a little differently, like it's to help them tolerate the big feeling, know what to do with it, know how not to harm anyone else with those feelings, but they're perfectly safe to have, perfectly okay to have. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you, the end of Abe's story is not that he's not competitive anymore, is that he has really struggled with that, does not like how it makes him feel to get too competitive. And so he has just decided individual sports is the way he does that, or he likes to compete with himself at the gym as opposed to getting on a team and losing a game. Like he's just moved his life to where he feels better about that. I don't think I did the whole thing right. He does have a lifetime ban from League of Legends. I'm not sure.
It's still in effect. Okay.
Right. Now, granted, when he moves out, he can break that ban because he'll have make his own decisions. But at a certain age, around, I want to say was 12, he started playing League of Legends with all his buddies, and it turned him to, a demon. So
God. Okay.
we got to a point, and whatever the design of that game is, and you guys would know, I have no idea, but the design of that game is like code to destroy my son's brain. It doesn't work for him. So that's where, on one hand, we're going to work on feeling your feelings and managing big feelings, and what do we do this, and lots of safety to talk about that, and it's okay. But that was really detrimental to him.
Yeah.
So when we finally gave him a lifetime ban.
Yeah, by the way, some point of correction, just so the chat understands, because I saw some people make an assumption. Wendy's saying that she banned him from League of Legends.
Yeah,
he did
not
not
League
get a
of Legends,
lifetime
right.
ban from League of Legends. All right?
Is that
They
even a
haven't- they
thing?
haven't banned him.
That is
Oh,
a
I'm
thing.
sure.
You can be banned for
Okay.
like toxic behavior and stuff like that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so unfamiliar with that world. But
It's all good.
no, it's a parental lifetime ban. And what happened in his response, we had lots of talks about it, is how much relief he felt, because he just didn't know how to control that experience, that feeling, and it just turned him into a lying little twit.
Yeah.
And so so it's even now, he's 17 years old, and he'll just laugh about League of Legends and just be like, I don't even know what it'll be like when I can see it again. We're like, you're not allowed to see it again. He's like, because clearly he will at some point.
Of course.
But I think he just learned, like, this isn't good for me. And I'm telling you right now, how many adults listening to this right now think what they're doing every day is fine when it's maybe not actually good for them. So this is a normal part of life, right? Sometimes and then other times you don't. Like, I have a client very suicidal at the moment. We're doing lots of things to make sure that she's okay. And the number one thing I had her do immediately was get off all social media.
Yeah.
And within a week, she's like, I cannot believe the difference in my brain. I mean, that alone was better than inpatient treatment, because what it did for her particularly was stopped the scrolling and stopped the comparing to everyone's life. And even though she didn't think that was happening at all, and it's because our brains are stupid and funny, right? Anyway, and so you take this child, this is a great opportunity. First of all, that's why I want you to do all your own checking first. I have no problem with League of Legends. I had a problem. I had am I a good mom moment, right? Like, I got to help this kid, right? So you can do that checking first. And then you can also say, is this just me not being cool about video games? Or is this just me not having, handling big emotions? Or is this harming my kid? There is a real question there. And that's what makes parenting so hard. If it was just crack down or do whatever I felt like, I mean, there's a price to be paid for that kind of parenting. The harder parenting takes longer, which is checking your own garbage, working as a team if you're partnered, and then what is best for this kid. And so sometimes it really is to have that boundary, like, all right, let's take a break from this. Or is there some other way that we can enjoy games and you don't have to feel all those things if you don't want to, so it's just a lot more talking and not so much what I think video game playing as a family is, which is relaxing and escapism. And hey, we're just doing, like, it makes it something else. It's like if you're going to play card game with somebody you don't know real well and suddenly they're screaming and flipping the board over, you're like, yeah, we're not going to do that again.
Yeah. I had
it's
friends
understandable.
we had neighbors that did this with Catan, Settlers of Catan, which is the most chill game. You should never have to freak out playing Settlers of Catan. You just shouldn't. But this husband-wife team were so hardcore on each other and mad and upset. And at one point, one of them got up and threw their pieces everywhere. And I remember turning to Kim and going, we're never doing this again.
we now have a thing that we can never do with this group of people again.
Yeah. And I was in my 20s where I gave a lot more craps about things like this. And I was just like, I'm never doing this again with these people. This is like never going to happen. Today, I'm not sure we'd ever start the game because I just have like an inkling that these are going to be those people, But back then I was like, whatever, it's everybody will just try. But what a nightmare.
Yeah.
So,
And that is probably what the emailer is also tuned into, is nobody likes a sore loser, right? We have phrases in our lingo. Nobody likes a sore loser.
Right.
That's exactly what Abe is. That's what this kid is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They feel it so deeply, and then they make it comes out, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it may be just a question of having some conversations with this kid, offering some skills, offering ways to think about it, offering a break. There has been many, many times I have asked parents, they're like, what do I do? I'm like, stop the privilege that is happening and have a calm, reorientation and then go back to it. Right. And what kids usually do is it's such a relief because they don't have the skills yet to handle the thing. Right. And then you give them some skills, you walk through it. You ask him how it feels in his body. Like, what is going on for you? Not in the moment. Remember my rule. You don't have a conversation about sex in a bedroom. You do not have a conversation about how finances as you're paying bills. You have to have them at different times.
Separate from the moment. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So take this kid to get some yummy fries and ice cream or whatever you want to do and just say, hey, let's talk about how it feels when you're playing video games.
Have you ever had anybody do that, though? Like, have you ever had a client go, yeah, we taught our kid about the birds and the bees, and the way we did it was we had them in the room while we were doing it. We made sure that. Do you think that's ever happened? Do you think everyone thought that was a good idea?
No. Yes and no. Don't
ever do it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about between two adults. Okay.
Right. Like you're having a conversation like, oh, we don't do it enough, but don't do it like while you're laying in bed together.
Yeah, don't do that. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? I would lose my.
Yes, no. And the thing about the parenting thing too, and everybody knows this, and that's why birth order is interesting, is because, my kid who's terrible at competitive anything because he is mad, made the other kids around him not want to participate with him. Right?
Yeah.
And they start developing their own socks in the department store because of siblings. I think we haven't talked much about how siblings can damage one another.
Yeah.
But I think that's every parent's fear too. I mean, I remember mom and dad saying like, well, I sure hope, Tara, who was really hard for them, didn't, mom will say, I still feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's probably a worry from this guy that the kid that has a hard time with competitive play will quote unquote infect. That some of that will rub off on the other ones, especially if they play a game against each other, as opposed to all playing Fortnite individually. But if they play a game against each other of something, and angry kid. I just don't want to call him problem kid, but the angry kid's not a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But he gets becomes a sore loser about it. That could rub off on the other one, or a sore winner might even be worse, right?
Oh yeah,
rubbing in the other one's face could turn the other ones into sore losers.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and so you're maybe acting out of that concern, which then means it's harder to be a little more clear-eyed, right? Into helping this kid get what he needs. You just want him to stop harming your other kids or causing distress in the family or more stress, right? So, and I can say this because I have 4 children. You're neglecting one of them at all times, at least, right? And one is screaming for more attention than the others for reasons, or and so this is not easy, and it feels like one more thing to do when we're just trying to have fun. But sorry, you signed up for it when you kept having babies. And it's tricky. It's really tricky. And I do really empathize. But I do think if you can give a little more individual attention, and I'm going to give you a little secret to do this that I think is really powerful. It works wonders with adults and really well with kids. If you can get yourself in the right mindset to do it. And that is to help, like Brian, you were saying, angry kids know better. So the problem kid or the angry kid, as if it's a whole person. It's not, right?
Exactly.
And that's why you hesitate, because that's not what you mean.
No,
but
I just wanted some way of identifying the kid in just a few words so I could. Yeah.
Good
so
point.
without labeling anybody, what you can do is help them not label themselves, right? Because I think that happens naturally, especially with lots of kids, is you kind of have, you're the helpful one, and you're the stupid one, and you're the angry one, or, whatever. It's shortcut, I guess, for managing a crew. But is to talk this way. So for example, you take the kid to dinner by himself. Okay. Yeah. Start there. And you say, let's chat about something. So it seems like sometimes a part of you gets really angry when you're playing video games.
Sure.
So not you get really angry. A part of you is really angry.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's talk about that part of you. So what's it like, right? What do you experience when that's happening? Just walk me through it. And then he's going to talk about what it's like. But
you'd be surprised. The
the
10-year-old's smart enough and been around long enough. They're gonna educate you on how that feels if you don't know.
Exactly.
They really will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you are telling them they are angry, or you're, and this is really a subtle language difference. I'm just saying you get really angry to a part of you seems really angry.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is just giving them a little space. The other parts of them, the part that knows and feels really bad that happens, is allowed to be there, right?
Yeah.
And so there's lots of, and we all talk this way, right? Like, oh, a part of me wants to do this, or a part of me just wishes I could blah, blah, blah. It's not 100%. It's just a part of you. And so anger is a really important part of us. It's a protector. It is power. It gets a lot of people to behave differently. Notice it gets you a dinner in this case, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is powerful.
Yeah.
And so you're basically helping your kid talk through when this part's sort of running the show, what it's like. But that part isn't always running the show. And so the more they can just sort of have a little space or separate, the easier it will be the next time they're playing. Is, okay, it seems like a part of you is getting really angry again. Take a breath, whatever kinds of coachings or help you want to give them and skills around sort of managing when that part takes over. You're going to also show them it's not their whole self.
Yeah.
They are not bad. Anger is not bad. What happens is if we do this very quickly, we just go, like, shut it down and don't act. And we use our anger to stop their anger.
Right.
And I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is a direct thing you dealt with. I forgot about the League of Legends thing.
Oh, I'm not done.
Yeah, you're not done yet. But like,
and here's
isn't
the
it?
best
It's so.
part, is
Yeah.
I know exactly how I'm screwing my kids up.
Yeah.
You guys just get to sort of think about it every once in a while. I know exactly when I'm doing it.
But isn't it funny how, like, I know this is probably true of every family dynamic with multiple kids, but you think because genetically you're bringing together the same genetics, and somehow the kids are all going to come out identical and behave the same. And I'm sure that's true of some families. I mean, I know some people where all the kids seem like clones of each other, but it's mostly not true. And they're all so different. Like Elliot and Abe could not be more different, those two kids.
Oh my
or
gosh,
Peter,
so
for that
different.
matter. Peter's like a whole other stratosphere of different from those other kids. Same with my kids. They're all so diverse and different. And there's just no one size fits all. It might be one size fits all for certain activities. They're all fine with video games and don't get overly competitive. But boy, with 4 of them, you're really not. The odds are against you for that. And so none of this should be a surprise, or I don't know. It's a chance for you to really get into it with him and understand where he's coming from, and come out on the other side with just a better relationship with that kid.
Yeah.
I had to do this.
No, I mean, if this is the second kid or third kid or fourth kid, you have some idea that there's different stages. But like if it's your oldest, that can be particularly hard because you don't know. Everyone grows out of a lot of things, or it morphs or changes. I thought Abe would be, a fiery hot ball of fight every second of his life. And he really has learned some different skills and can handle things very differently. In fact, sometimes they said, what are you interested in doing? He's like, I'm thinking I might be a lawyer. And someone's like, how? You don't take anything seriously. I'm like, whoa, you have tricked them. Because you do take things seriously. But he's really worked to relax that part of him that finds winning a game is the most important thing in that moment. He's figured that out. There's plenty of adults who have not figured that out, right?
Yeah.
And so you're expecting a 10-year-old to do something that, who's the terrible coach that throws chairs and abusive?
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight, that's
Bobby
what I was thinking
Knight.
of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I've
I think
never
it was Bill
analyzed Bobby
Belichick,
Knight.
but he just throws deflated footballs.
That's right. That's right. He just throws the game.
So there is just, lots of evidence that this is a lifelong journey, and, sort of building a foundation. I always tell people, listen, it's hard to hear because it's so exhausting, but parenting is a long game. A long, long game.
Yeah.
And you are creating the relationship with your 10-year-old now around this topic that is going to last for a long time. And you can always change it and do something differently, but you have a great opportunity to start to build some building blocks because there is something showing up for this kid right now.
Yep.
You know?
You're right. By the way, Bobby Knight's still
Exhausting.
with us. Bobby Knight is mom's age, and he's not throwing chairs anymore. He's throwing diapers now. So yeah, only when he's upset. It's fine.
Gross.
Yeah, it is gross. Well, there you go. I think that's very helpful stuff. I would love to hear back from this listener. We didn't get a name, but would love to hear back on progress here. And I don't know. I think you can have some real positive stuff with this kid. You just gotta do the things Wendi said.
And then
nice,
beware of scapegoating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should. Who's the kid that can carry the family's dysfunction is usually the kid who's saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like and responding and reacting and truth telling through behavior. And so I think everyone should just go read about scapegoating. That's just everyone's assignment today.
If your goats are getting out,
don't do it.
No, let them.
And if you've been scapegoated, oof,
Yeah. Keep your
whatever
goats.
it takes to keep your goats from scaping.
That's right.
That's
no
right.
no scaping, no landscaping, no manscaping, any of that.
No
all right.
Zero-scaping.
No zero-scaping.
None of it.
Or even zero-scaping, as I used to call it. None of that either.
Okay,
Anyway.
so I have 2 things to talk about. Can
Go.
I bring them up?
Yeah, but of course.
As we end here?
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, Real Steps is live. I will send an email out, but you can go to realsteps.org right now and sign up for the March round that's coming up.
All right.
Starts on March 6th. Gonna be so good.
For some reason, the site
so many good
says
things
it's
happening.
down. Why? Oh, no, it's up now. Okay, we're good. Never mind.
It is up. It was not. It is up. I made Adam do it all late last night. So yay for him.
Yep.
Anyway, it's up and ready to rumble, and it's going to be a blast. This round's going to be really fun. So please go there and sign up, and I will bug you on this show until it starts, and then I'll stop bugging you. So anyway, that's number 1.
How come Alina has a brand new photo, her drinking some kind of green smoothie drink, and Wendy's still using her old photo? Where's your new photos? Come on.
I switched it. I tried to switch it, and I clearly didn't do what normal people do, is like save it. So I got to do that again.
Okay. Good luck to you on that.
But whatever. Okay, don't critique me live.
No critiquing.
All
No
send your
critiquing.
written complaints to admin at realsteps.org. You can reach me there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, the second thing is really sad.
Oh no!
Sorry to ruin the mood, but
All right.
I have a favor to ask the community if people are willing. So we didn't talk much about it, but in January, when I came out to Salt Lake last minute, so what happened is a really good friend of mine from high school. We did reference that
Yeah.
we've all been close and good friends for a long time. Anyway,
Sure.
So a good friend of mine from high school, her teenage son, who's exact same age as my son, like months apart, was in a basketball game and went up to block a shot, just had a really weird injury where like his hip flexor ripped from his hip and just a bunch of really severe damage. The x-rays they said looked like a little mini grenade had gone off, and so just had lots of injuries that way. And anyway, they had him rest for a week and were monitoring. Dad's a orthopedic surgeon, so he was being really careful on all the things. And the day after Christmas, got up to go to a doctor's visit and through a blood clot, and it stopped his heart and he died.
Oh, jeez.
And was just so horrible and so tragic and so sad. And this kid was, they're in a little town in Wyoming, and so it was a really big deal for the community. And anyway, everyone showed up to this funeral, and it had 1,000 people, and we were in this theater. It was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and my friend is just a rock. And anyway, and so in part of trying to be there for her when you grieve something like this, it's just like it's unfathomable. Like, what do you even say and do? And we've talked about grief on the show before, and just it's so hard. You think you're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. And so we had my group of friends, we had a long discussions about how to support her and what to do. And so one of the things we're doing is every 2 weeks, one of us is assigned the week. And it's grieving with them and honoring him in some way and just making sure we still talk about him. His name's Max. And, you know, just sort of allowing that to always be okay. Because we have 5 17-year-olds among us. So we all have kids who just keep going. And that kid has stopped in time. And it's heart-wrenching. So I thought everyone's kind of doing different things. He was a fan of a certain team. So one friend got him a bunch of like jerseys with his name and his basketball number on it and stuff. And that was one week. And another week, someone's sending her to like a spa. We're just trying to do nice things. So I was thinking, what could I do? And I thought about the frog pants people and how kind and nice you guys all are. And I thought, you know, one of the things I think, you know, this kid was such a good kid. Just like normal and sweet and nice and just so hard. And as just some way of honoring him. And so they have actually started a scholarship in his name. I don't know if they've decided where exactly the money will go, but they're just, you know, collecting it in his honor. And so I thought what I could do is if anyone's willing to donate $1 or $2, we could send the money, you know, I'm going to send it all at once as like a bulk thing and just say, you know, this is from the tadpole basically, and explain who you guys are because I don't think she knows. And just, you know, in honor of Max. And then, but really even more than that, if money is not a thing you can share, and I don't want a lot. I just want a little, but I want from a lot of people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, I get small amounts from a large group of
small
people.
amounts would be lovely. And just, you know, it'll go obviously to a good cause, but just what I want, probably even more than that, is just words. So what I was thinking is if people can donate $1 and then just, you know, in Venmo, and I'll have it come to me and then I'll send it all to her at once when it's my turn. My turn's the end of February, the 26th. And send it in, I don't know, I'll print it out or make a little book or just something of just people sharing like that he's not forgotten. And you can look him up. His name's Max Sorensen. You can see his obituary online is beautiful and amazing. And anyway, and just, I don't know. I mean, this is hard for me to ask because it's very personal, obviously, but it also I just think, I don't know what else to do. And this community is always so good when people don't know what to do and need help.
No, that's absolutely true. I would love to do that. So do you want to give out your Venmo name?
Yeah. So okay. I'll do it. Yeah. So then I can just do it all at once. And,
sure.
Yeah. Like I'll present whatever. And then people can just email me anything if you don't want to do it through Venmo. Yeah. You could just email it. Actually, do it at admin at Real Steps, actually.
Okay, so admin at realsteps.org is the email
admin
address.
At realsteps.org.
Yeah.
And then I'll just collect all of that. And you don't obviously have to put your names or anything else, even if it's just a sentence. Maybe where you're from. The kid's lived all over the country and he just like had plans to travel the world. I think it'd be sweet for him to just see that people all around the world are good and their family. Anyway, and so my Venmo is just at Wendi Dunford, WENDIDUNFORD.
Dunford.
And there's a picture of me making a stupid face.
Well, that's what we Johnsons do on our social accounts.
Yeah.
So Wendi, but don't forget the I. It's Wendi with an I, you guys. Wendi with an I, Dunford.
Yeah, WNDI. Yeah, Wendi with a Y Dunford is happy to get all the extra money. She has sometimes sent me things.
Oh, really? Do you get stuff from them?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
It's weird. Happened before.
I get Scott Johnson stuff here and there too. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for naming us weird. I appreciate
for our
it.
Basic names. So at Wendi Dunford with an I, and then you could just put any message there, and then I'll just keep track of all of that, and then I'll let you know at the end how it goes, and that would be really sweet.
Yeah.
So if anyone's in the mood, feels like that's something they want to.
Yeah.
Especially if you've lost anyone, I think you kind of get it in a way that just you don't get it till you get it. I've had a couple people just reach out who have been there for friends who've lost children. And there's like a sub-support group for the friends of friends, just trying to do the right thing by your friend because the world moves on and just really, really hard.
Yeah, it's super hard.
So thanks. Sorry to bum everyone out.
No apologies necessary. I think this is a great way we can help. So I can already see the chat room brewing about how they want to do it and where they're going to do it. that's good to see. If anybody's listening at home and you want to contribute, again, that is at Wendi Dunford with an I for Wendi, Wendi Dunford on Venmo, or email her directly if you want to do it a different way at admin@realsteps.org. And let's do something nice for these people. They deserve it.
That'd be sweet.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad we're doing that, and I'm also glad to have you back. We'll do this again next week. And and Wendy's coming to Vegas, so that's fun.
Yes.
Yay!
I need jobs. Tell me what
I got one. I got one for you.
There.
So I was thinking, I was talking to Brian about it a little bit, and I think you and I maybe have talked about this, but we should do like a little Lucy booth, like another booth.
5% psychotherapy booth at the game, the board game.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was very fun.
It was fun.
I could also do a little, like a fun group. I was thinking I'd make all the real steppers who are there join me for a little real step mind blowing.
Oh, they totally
moment,
could.
but they know what I'm talking about.
And there's a bunch. There'll be a bunch there, so absolutely, that'll be That'll be great.
Fun. I mean, others can join too, but I need to see my people too.
Sure. We'll come up with some cool stuff. But
I'm pulling you into the Taskville competition as well. So
great, because I'm really good at trivia. If that's what it is.
Nothing to do with trivia, which is the best part.
Yep. You ever done?
So bad.
Have you ever done an escape room? Is the question. Have you ever done that?
Oh, I'm also no. All right, I'll do my best. It's gonna be great.
It won't. I can promise you this. Brian's designing this thing, and it's not like weird or hard. It's challenging, but it's not like we put you in a terrible position. It's not like that.
And now you're a loser, and no one believes anything you say.
Anyway, we'll get you more info on that because I got to find out when you're. Okay. I guess we got to find out when you're getting into town. Do you know when you're getting in? Are you getting in on Monday, or do you know?
Monday noonish.
Noonish Monday. All right, we'll figure this out and get it worked around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very excited to see you because I don't get to very often, and then that will soften the blow of having to deal with all our relatives in July when we have our family reunion. That'll be great.
Exactly.
We'll take it easy. All our best, and remind Abe for us that it's better to have your mom ban you from League than Riot ban you from League of Legends. Okay, because he'll never get back in that way. All right, we'll see you later.
Yep.
All right, well done. Yeah, so you kind of need her there early for this, right? Or how does it work?
I'd like, if I could get her there early for it, then that would be great. But totally understand. We can figure out, see if we can make it work. I was hoping to do all of for the folks who have to do all the editing, hoping to do all that stuff for Sunday. But maybe there's a way around it. Maybe we can figure something out.
Put that Kevin KT data to work, man. Oh, by the way,
yeah,
that would be the perfect. So last year's project, which kind of had some trouble with audio. I know you guys are accounting for all that this year, but if you had a situation where you're like, crap, we need to very quickly get audio that was distant and make it better. That Adobe thing is actually good for that.
Adobe thing.
Yeah, that's actually legit good for that sort of stuff.
That's not bad. Yeah, it's actually a really good way to do it.
Something to think about. All right, that's the end of this here show that we did here. And I really enjoyed it today. But guess what? There's more content coming. Brian, tell me about Coverville today. What's going on?
Yeah, Coverville today is not going to be today.
Oh, shit.
Sorry. No, that's right. I was going to have to announce this anyway. Got a client meeting this afternoon that is going to take most of the afternoon. However, I'm putting stuff together for a Barrett Strong tribute episode. A lot of the old Temptation songs, like the biggest songs by the Temptations, the song Money, That's What I Want, is Barrett Strong. So many of those old Motown songs are Barrett Strong, and so we're gonna have a tribute episode for him because he just passed away in the last week. So far, of the 4 episodes of Coverville this year, 3 of them are tribute episodes to people we've already lost in the first part of this year. It's like, oh no, slow down, 2023.
Sure.
Anyway, so that'll be coming up. Just keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll announce it, and if you're subscribed to Coverville, you'll just get it automatically as to when it happens.
Nice. Obviously, look forward to that. Skim today sometime. I don't know when, but Kim and I will be sitting down for a Skim episode today. Depends on a couple of things with her schedule, but we should have an episode today. Core tonight for sure at 5 p.m. Lots to talk about there. If you want to hear the sad tale of somebody who's bought Hitman 3, a.k.a. Hitman World of Assassination 3 different times, well, tune in and find out why I did that. I got a story around that, and it's that game's awesome. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Core. Oh, I mentioned Core. Film Sack this weekend. Is it Rambo we're doing? First Blood 2?
First Blood Part 2, Rambo.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this. So finally getting another Rambo in, and helping stack the deck for Sylvester Stallone being our most sacked actor. So
that's right. Watching it tonight, but I think I've already figured out what my intro is going to be based around. So
amazing!
I'm excited to do that.
All right, very good. You'll do it. Will you do it shirtless with a red bandana while you write it?
I kind of always do. You just can't see it because we don't stream, we don't live record Film Sack.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
good point. Yeah. Also, a TMS couch party for patrons this Friday. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m. I think we're doing Captain Marvel.
Are we starting Captain Marvel? Yeah, sounds good. How long is that?
It's probably
I've got a Mammoth game tomorrow night, but
we could either start early or we could do half.
Or
we could
split it in half. Yeah, we might do that.
I could do half. Half's fine. Let's do that. We'll do half and then take a week-long intermission.
Yeah,
there
we go.
And let's all go to the lobby for 7 days.
Harder, faster, bigger, better, baby.
That's what I say.
124 minutes, so 2 hours, 4 minutes. So, yeah, I think we might split that one.
We'll split it in half. Yep, we'll find the hour mark and we'll call it good. So that is for you patrons of the show. That's this Friday. That's tomorrow, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. If you want to be there for that, 2 p.m. Pacific and, of course, 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you're Central, you know what time it is. All right. Patreon.com/TMS is how you can be part of that and many other things, including avoiding commercials until the end of time. It's a great way to never have an ad. It's also a great way to get pre-show content that you don't get in any other way, as well as post-show content, I should mention. We do these couch parties. We do monthly play dates with video games. We do a bunch of other great monthly benefits that you can be a part of now if you'll just join us at patreon.com/TMS and be a part of the larger community for as low as $1 a month because we're stupid. All right. Moving on. Let's do a song. And that song you have. So tell me about song.
Look at this. It's our second visit up to Edmonton, Canada, this time for Derek, who writes, "Hey, Strathcone and Belgravia, those are neighborhoods in Edmonton. I'd like to request a song for my 38th year of being free from the womb." Came out, or his request was for February 1st. So yesterday, not too bad.
Nice.
This year's been hell for my mental health, and it's a damn good thing I have you two and everyone on TMS to listen to. You all make such a huge difference. I hope you realize what amazing things you do. For my request this year, I'd like to have some sort of K-pop. I've really gotten into it this year, and thankfully, with some suggestions from listening to Tom Merritt, who's, I think his recent foray to the One Direction kid, former One Direction kids concert, is his first non-K-pop concert in like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, they have been nothing but K-pop 100% of the time over there at their household.
Harry Styles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been expanding my horizons. I'm not sure what kind of covers are out there, but I know you can find something awesome. Once again, thank you so much for the show and everything that you do. Derek in Edmonton, Canada.
Let's party!
Happy birthday.
Excellent. So this is tricky, right? Because the way to find it, you can't really just search K-pop covers. You find a lot of K-pop or a lot of covers of K-pop artists. So you kind of have to start with a popular K-pop band and then see what covers they might have done, which is what I did. I did a search through things like Blackpink and BTS and all sorts of things like that. Ended up with Girls' Generation. This is a song they recorded back in 2012, and it's called Dancing Queen, so you might immediately assume, oh, it's a cover of the song by ABBA. Right, sure, easy. No, it's not. It's a cover of the song Mercy by Duffy.
Wow.
They just happen to change the lyric, and they're using Dancing Queen. This is great. It is so goofy fun. K-pop is always a fun little thing to foray into. Here is Girls' Generation and their cover of Dancing Queen.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
It's starting to be a bit of a pain not to have a CD-ROM drive in your notebook computer.
You know, that's true.
It's true.
It's starting to be a bit of a pain.
It's starting to be a bit of a pain.
Yeah. That was that dude. Remember that guy?